from the back streets of Southern Missouri. This is Renee Benson at AV Renee KC. You are listening to and watching The AV Life.
I'm coming at you from Los Angeles County. This is Murphy Daly, AV veteran and author, bringing you a glimpse. You can come join us in the AV life.
Hey, this is Nancy Blanchard at Nancy Blanchard with Williams AV, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
Hey, this is James King, the writer for Higher Ed AV Digital Magazine, IT and AV column, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
Hey, this is Joe Way, and I am the host of the Higher Ed AV podcast, chair of the Higher Education Technology Managers Alliance, and of course, the CEO and editor-in-chief of the Higher Ed AV Digital Magazine. And in case you didn't hear it, author of Producing Worship. You are watching and listening to the AV Life.
And I'm your host of the AV Life, Tim Van Wert, and I don't have as many titles as Joe Way does, although I do belong to HETMA. I am working for Rutgers University. I don't have a book yet. Maybe I should get a book, but you're watching and listening to the AV Life. That was probably the longest intro that anyone's ever given us, Joe Way.
I know. Oh, the drama there.
But we got it all out of the way now. It's done.
True.
You've done all your plugs.
Well, did I tell you that my project was recently named Case Study of the Year by Commercial Integrator Magazine of this year? Did I tell you that in 2005, I was Businessman of the Year by the Orange County Small Business Association? Did I tell you? All right, I'll stop.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Don't forget your perfect SAT score from when you were a teenager.
Exactly. 1600.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow, it was 1600. Those 2400 years.
Surprises, but I'm not surprised anymore.
There you go.
well, welcome, Joe Way.
Thank you for inviting me again.
Well,
2 weeks
you're
in a
always,
row.
yeah, you're always welcome. I always invite you. It's just a matter of if you show up or not, really. So,
Well, actually, thank you for making me a crew member.
yes, I promoted you because you came 2 weeks in a row. So
2 weeks in a row, I've got to become a crew member. Well, no, because I came 2 weeks in a row, I'm now a crew member.
Yes. So, and if you miss, then I demote you again. We'll just start the process all over again. So, it's
I
really
really
how it
only
works.
came because you titled this Drinks and Something.
Oh, drinks on the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, actually, I probably should have called it drinks in the house, but we'll see what comes up when I actually post the name of this episode.
We could get on top of the roof. We're on the house.
I'll go on the roof.
I know you
Up
would.
on the roof. Up on the. No, never mind. I'll stop singing. People don't want to hear that.
Have another drink.
So, yeah, maybe I should. Well, yeah, that is something we're going to talk about today. So, we could do that. But yeah, so it's been a good week. Another crazy week, and I know for those of us in higher ed, I think the accelerator pedal is probably going down a little harder as of late. I know for me it is. So Joe, James, I don't know for you guys. Are installs picking up?
For what there's going on, we really didn't do much installs this summer. I mean, our rooms are pretty up to date and moving forward.
In class
Did you get
in the fall?
We're
Everybody?
aiming for 80%. Minimum, they want 80%. I don't know the exact number, but I do know we've been holding new student orientation and halls have been pretty busy.
Is that the start for the fall?
Yeah,
the
that would be the
year?
fall. They come in, they pick their classes and all that stuff. So the labs and all them have been pretty full.
Yeah. And then what about summer school? Do you guys have summer school going on right now?
Yep, I'm actually in my second term for my summer classes because I'm doing the MBA as well. So this summer I took 2 courses and I'm wrapping up my second one.
Oh, cool.
It must be really nice to only have 2 classrooms to take care of. We're the complete opposite. We're waiting for ships to cargo to unload.
Yep.
You know,
Oh,
when I thought we were done, when I thought we had everything, scope creep comes on in. Next thing you know, the random department that never returned your email after 18 months says, "Can I get a few classrooms?" Sure. What's a few? Oh, 120. You
Oh,
If you
realize
had a
that it's
good
June
project
14th.
manager, that wouldn't happen.
Well, no.
That
That
I'm
doesn't
joking.
matter. But that doesn't matter about the project manager because I've been there before too. You know,
It happens in
these
all higher ed.
these departments show up like we gave these quotes to you when things were quiet, and now all of a sudden you're coming out of the woodwork being like, "Oh, now we could do this." I was
Yep.
like, yeah, now you want to do this, but now I'm already like booked for the next 6 weeks to finish up before start of semester. So, yeah, and I'm waiting on the crates of product and things like that to show up. So,
Joe, go over there to the port and pick some stuff up for us, please.
Yeah, I'll be. Hey, I'm sure some of your stuff's waiting for me too. So I don't know. I mean,
Oh, it is.
we all want those containers to get unloaded. Hey, at least the funny thing is the Port of LA at one point was 42 days behind, like literally
Wow.
42 days lined up off the coast because COVID had shut it down. We just a few hours ago, LA County just went into lockdown again.
what? Really?
oh, I didn't even hear that. Wow,
What?
that's
I didn't hear that.
breaking news.
Breaking news,
Yeah.
LA County is now, well, it's locked down with masks and the social distancing hasn't come out yet, but I have a feeling that's about to come.
But is it just the indoor that you have to have masks?
Yeah, but the whole Delta variant. But of course, the thing is, the cases have risen, but nothing else has changed. And you got to go get your vaccine, people.
I know.
Go get your vaccine, people. Go get your vaccine, people. Okay, and that's where it's coming up, and now we're back to slowing down. But we were at 42 days backed up of the Port of LA. They got caught up to like, it was like 12 days or something. Like they caught up quite a bit in just this last month since opening up on, what was June 15th, a month ago today as of we're recording. And who knows how this will slow things down.
Opening up
Yeah.
helps.
So
Yeah.
this backup, Joe, was it backup of the ships to unload or backup of in the port unloading the cargo?
No, it was literally, they were to get into the
The
port
ships.
because of the social distancing, how many people could work, and the slowdown of unloading it. They would be, and outside of our house, we could see them for miles out past Catalina Island. They were lined up. Like, you want to know the business to get into during COVID? They were paying thousands of dollars to have pizza delivered out to the cargo ships.
Yeah.
Literally
Wow.
ordered Domino's, and people would get on their boats and take it out to the cargo ships. Thousands of dollars you could make to do that.
Wow.
That's the business to have been in. Pizza delivery guy on a little boat to go out. Yeah.
Wow.
See, now you
I
got to put the
don't know
pizza.
why. The question is, why did they not deliver the pizza and then the people get on the boat and go back to port with them? I haven't figured that part out yet because the boat's just anchored there. But I guess they know stuff I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But or actually, you know what? You put the pizza. You should put the pizza oven on the boat so you have hot and fresh pizza pulling up, and you're
We need
making
to
them
talk
as
to
you
Chris
go on.
Netto about this.
Well, it's got to be somebody. It's got to be from somebody from New York, New Jersey, because
Yeah.
your pizza sucks everywhere
Oh,
else. I'm
gosh.
sorry.
Yeah, there's that.
Uh-oh.
And I got my governor's backing
Fight-
on that,
fighting-
so I
fighting
know.
words.
Yeah, I got the whole state of New Jersey behind me,
Well, let
so
me
it's
tell you
okay.
something- Let me tell you something about ships. Just like equipment, people can't land without all their papers in order.
Mm.
So people can't get off because they have to go process properly, or they would be, illegal and all that.
You realize
touche.
it's California, right? Wait, did I just say that out loud?
Little
And on the
bit.
record. Welcome to editing, Tim.
And Oh, come on. This was going so well. Like I've had a good string.
Just kidding.
Of
You know,
not having it. I know.
it-
I don't have to
it-
edit that out.
you don't have to. It was.
No, I know. I don't.
That was quality comedy.
Of course it was.
I mean, if people haven't unfollowed me yet,
Touche. Yeah. So, all right. Well, you know what? Before we have too much fun, Murphy, is there a PM minute? Since we're talking about people on ships and things like that. So.
are you saying the PM minute isn't fun?
Well, no, it is fun. It's a different kind of fun.
Oh,
Are you
Comedy
Yes,
gold.
maybe I should see.
You
This
want
is what I
proof?
get for.
roasting. He's roasting. He's trying his hand at roasting.
Don't worry. I won't be here next week. So the following week, I'll be back to being a guest. So don't worry.
It's like I'm gonna demote you like right now. Like just get back there. But no, it's okay. Go ahead, Murphy.
You can give us the thumbs up, thumbs down at the end, Joe, as to whether it's fun or not. You can say, well, I don't know, or that was a rolling good time. So this is my PM minute today. Tim's on my side. When you're handling a project, there are a lot of different stakeholders. There's a lot of different streams of inputs in and out. And so making your project plan, making your plans, going forward with the schedule, trust but verify. Don't forget, your people that came at you with 120 rooms. Yeah, trust them when they say there's nothing on their plate and they don't need anything extra. But, check in. How's it going, guys? Let's just verify that. And in particular, I was thinking about some crazy, what did I call them? Bargain basement installers I got one time that it was a crazy project. I set him up to go for a week of install. It was just a little bit, but it was like one guy going to be there for a week and he had enough to do just by himself. Okay, fine. So I come back at the Friday and I'm like, this doesn't look like anything happened. And so I actually had to make a list of the things that had happened the last time I was there and the nothing that had happened. Like we were expecting this camera to be in place. We were expecting this mount to be in place. And I looked at all the rooms and those things aren't in place. And this particular bargain basement installer confessed that, yes, he had not actually been on site all week. That was a downer. And I'm like, well, it would be challenging to get another guy here because we're halfway through the project and there aren't people lying around ready to do this and budget. So I'm like, I could call your boss right now. He doesn't know you weren't here. I have proof that you weren't here because nothing was done. What are we going to do about this? He's like, I already checked with the people. They're going to be open all weekend. I'll promise I'll come on the weekend. I'm like, I'll give you a chance. Because it was Friday. What else could I do? So I come back on Monday and he actually had done quite a bit of work. So I'm like, okay. Fear of God was in his heart because I would call him and he would probably be fired. Yeah, Logan, definitely. I did not like working.
Yeah,
with
you
those
get
particular subs,
sometimes you get what you pay for when it comes to that. Like not always, because I've had integrators who have worked with us for pricing purposes and they come in lower, but we know that we're getting a good product from them.
Yeah. So in his case, I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave you to it. I had to verify it. But pretty much everything, someone else was talking about how it's really helpful to have a project manager who has an understanding, not just of project management, but of the work, shall I say, someone who's CTS certified, the work that it entails, so that they can when an installer says, oh yeah, this is going to be 2 days, they're like, a person with both skills could be like, hey, is your back hurt? Because it really looks like this is a 1-day job for this crew. And then they're
Right.
like, oh, well, I guess I'm okay. I guess we can push it and get it done in 8 hours. Like, yeah, you do that. So trust but verify with everybody. And I was kind of giving the example that Joe already gave, but I don't know. Does anybody have any other examples that sound like something you've experienced in your careers?
Well, I mean, I've experienced things with like people I work with that are kind of like that, like, where they say they're going to show up at certain times and then they don't show up until like 2 hours later. And, my boss actually walked in on the guy, or he actually walked in on the boss sitting in his office waiting for him to show up because he was 2 hours late for his shift. So, yeah, that was another one of those trust but verify. And my boss was verifying, and
Not here.
it's like, you're not here. You were supposed to be here at 10:30. It is now 12:30. It's like, yeah,
Yeah. There's that. So,
there is that. Yes.
but you do have to trust them because they got to do the work. But having there be an awareness amongst the people that you are verifying maybe makes them stand a little straighter. One of my favorite tricks that I require of installers is text me when you get to site. Text me when you're parked. I'm here, because like I need to know that right away. I need to not be surprised by the customer saying, "Hey, it's been an hour. Where is so and so? I thought they were coming at 8." And like, I don't want to go, "Oh, let me check." I want to say, I want to be the one calling them if they're late. I don't want to ever be the one hearing that they're late.
I feel like I try to be that one that's like in between, but not let people know that I'm playing that in between. So like I'm texting my installer, but then I'm calling my customer who's there. Like if I'm not there on site, I want to make sure I'm getting the same story from both sides, and that the customer's happy. And then my installer, I don't care if it's an awful picture. I want pictures of every step along the way. I don't know. I just always feel like it's harder to get decent text nowadays than it used to be. It used to be you didn't really have that worry, I feel like, in my neck of the woods. And now it's like, I feel like I have to almost babysit sometimes. So if I'm making them check in, it makes me feel a lot better. And if I'm getting that feedback from my customer too, I don't know, kind of like playing ping pong.
But that's what they were talking about on Twitter this week was, is there a way of paying the tech people better or making them feel more involved, and that there's promotions and things instead of it just being, sort of like that end job where you go, you show up, you don't feel appreciated in things. And I think that's an important point that was brought up.
I wasn't following.
Well,
what point was it?
Oh gosh.
Well, I think it goes back to how to keep good people. I think they're even going to talk about that at some event at InfoComm. Is how do you get somebody good in your organization, and then how do you keep them, especially now when I see people moving around.
Yep.
I mean, there has to be a structure in place to do that. Like sometimes, like I'll say my organization is not structured to promote people. It's just, I got a coworker of mine. He's been in the same position for 16 years now. It's like, and not because of lack of trying or anything like that. He's very good at his job. He's very good at project management, but we're not structured in a way to promote,
Okay. So then if he stayed there that long, it means that he's content with it to stay and look for something else. But I think with companies is that if you bring people in from, like the bottom, then you give them incentives, you give them things to feel part of the company, or even to come up with solutions. So they're out there and, they're working with Renee and doing installs and stuff. And maybe they see that things could be done in a smarter way. That's how, if we all become involved as a team, then everybody wants the better. Or you're just looking at a guy going, well, I'll come in an hour later and then I'll start type of mentality.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
We have a little of all of that happening right now, from the good to the bad, from the great to the bad. We have a lot of that going on now. I feel like the spectrum has changed recently. And when I say recently, I mean here in the last few years. But
So
You think it's some? Do we think it's something with the younger generation that's coming in?
it does, because we actually talked briefly about this in one of my classes I'm taking, and the younger generation, they are instant gratification, and that's becoming a problem in the workforce because you don't get instant gratification. So, like, I was talking with my wife about this the other day. It's like when we were kids, if we wanted to watch something, we had to wait for it to come on. My kid now just puts it on.
Yeah.
Instant
Like you
gratification.
had to wait a week for the next episode, not binge watch it all in a day.
Yeah. So, but these the younger workforce, I'm not saying they are wrong. Like, it's a bad trait, but it's part of the society and part of that generation. And they're coming in, they do the job and they want that instant gratification that, yes, they did it good, or they get that promotion. And once they don't get it, they're going somewhere else to get it.
Well, see,
I think that's spot on. I think that's exactly right.
I see it in Silicon Valley, actually, between like Google and Facebook and Apple, and that, as you said, the younger that's come right out of university. And what happens is they're staying for 1 year. I know somebody stayed for 1 year at Apple, and then she was like, you know what, I'm going to move on to Google. And it was said, no, you have to understand, you got to build up. But if your resume shows that you've jumped from one to the other, but she wasn't getting it. She was just like, oh no, I've done my time here at Apple. Now I'm going to move on to Google.
That's actually very big in the IT tech firms. Is if you look at a lot of younger techs, they probably only have about a 2-year tour at a company before they move on. And sometimes what that is they're being headhunted. So like they might do something good for Apple. Google hears about it and they say, hey, Nancy, come over here. We'll pay you 5% more. Then you start working for Google, and then, Amazon headhunts you. So that happens big in tech companies.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're seeing it here too. It's so funny because when I came on staff at USC, I used because to me, and maybe it's because I'm an alum, I thought this was the stopping place, right? You got to USC and you were done. And then I found out, no. USC is the stepping stone for a lot of people. Early in, you try to get the low job, like you get into USC, you work your way up to mid-level, and then you use it to jump into Netflix, Google, YouTube and all that. We've had so many people who are 1 year in and 1 year out and are in our IT department. It's amazing what they came in from, and then they jump to a high level at an Oracle or whatever. And you're like, how the hell did you do that?
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't put us down as your reference. I can guarantee you that. Yeah. And so that was really, really strange to think that, because I used to think we were a stopping place, not a stepping stone.
Yeah. I think also at Rutgers is that I think a lot of people, when they get hired here, they do just stay because the benefits are good. And, you're also talking about free education for your kids and stuff like that. So it's also, from what I understand, it's also very hard to get fired from here too. So that's
yeah. So that's
not that I'm looking to try to, test those waters.
News tomorrow, Tim's looking for a job.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But no.
When do we release this? Monday?
Monday. But no, that I find that even when I'm talking with like student workers, especially who are IT majors, I feel that they're very short picture mindset. I want the big bucks. I want to make the 100K coming out. And they don't realize, like, yeah, I work for a university and maybe I'm not making 100K, But if you count my PTO and you count my health benefits and the free education and all these other benefits, and also the note that you basically cannot be fired, it's you're making more than 100K.
And James, do you guys work in the summer, or do you have like time off like the profs do?
So we that's the funny thing. I know I've heard Joe said this, I've heard Tim say, I heard other higher ed people say, I always tell people this. So summertime is our busiest time. Like during the semester, we are in maintain mode, but summer is install and upgrades. So we don't get time off. Now, at least like my university I work for, we do get what we call our summer hours. So we still have to put in technically 35-hour work weeks, even though we all know we do more than that. But instead of doing it 5 days a week, we do it 4 days a week, but they're longer days. So like I work Monday through Thursday, but I'm in at 7 a.m. to leave at 4:15.
Okay.
All right, I want to go back to what you said about kids these days, James. The younger generation, they want
The damn kids.
Off my lawn.
Yeah, they want
Playing the music too loud.
face their way forward. You go online and you can hear about people who did this and get like life hacks. Life hacks are a big thing. Career hacks, all the hacks to skip the line and get going, right? These are good things to kind of know. But I remember people who want to get promoted and recognized. It seems, I mean, a promotion is definitely one thing because you're trying to get to the next level, trying to get more pay, trying to get more respect, and etc. But it's external. If there's an enough, and then what is, if you've got enough like money and security and you got something to do, somewhere to go, that's kind of an enough level. And if you have a slow going upward, that's pretty good. But having those things are the having a promotion, having a recognition is external. And then you go, oh, I'm doing okay. I can feel good about myself because somebody said you get a bigger job, you get more, whatever the job gives you. That pinged something for me. I remember when I moved from being in conferencing operations into straight up project management. It was a big shift. And the benefit of doing daily, making sure the conferences worked, was a hit. That was like a dopamine hit every conference that worked. I'm like, yes, we landed it, we did it. And I might have 12 of those a day. I don't know, on a busy day, it could be even more. Getting those going, setting them up, getting everybody being heard okay, and it goes all the way till the end and they hang up and I've done a successful thing. But a project is like 3 months worth, 3 years, depending on the project. It's a long ways to get that dopamine hit of done. So I had to learn to give myself, little things along the way. And that had to come from me inside, praising myself, recognizing myself and saying, good job, I did well. So when a young person goes from school, and school is really short, you have like 1 semester worth, and along the course of the semester, you have assignments, you have tests, you have papers that come back to you and say, you are a good person or you need to do better. It tells you that. But in a job, you don't have that same structure anymore. So you have to find ways of giving it to yourself. And that isn't really discussed.
Great point.
Yeah.
Interesting. True.
So these things of character, like learning how to feel good about yourself, learning how to do the things that give you self-esteem, are not on the top of the search page results on Google.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel that way about loyalty too. I feel like there's a little less loyalty than there used to be. I feel like people used to go to their job and they were happy to have that job and they just stayed, and now it's kind of like, what does that have to offer? What does that have to offer? Oh.
Do you think it's demographics though? Like in a smaller town, you have more of that loyalty than, somewhere where there's maybe more tech firms or opportunities?
Probably so. I would say that makes sense.
Well, yeah, if there are more opportunities to bounce around and do different things and go different places, yeah, I mean.
Well, I know a lot of us like sports, so even tied into back to sports. I mean, remember when I was growing up, the quarterback, like Lenny Dawson, he just stayed there. Don Mattingly, he was a Yankee for many years. Like they just stayed, and now they could be a season somewhere, and then they're going to get more money to go here and then go here, and then, there's just really that loyalty to stay to that one team, and I feel kind of the same. That it's just like James said, that instant gratification. What's the next better thing for me? What's the next best? More money or more benefit?
But
for now,
yeah.
People are looking at, hey, I want to work for somebody who's going to let me work from home, or whatever.
Well, yeah, that, but I was also going to say the grass isn't greener because so many people, have Silicon Valley on a pedestal, but in the same sense is that, rent is through the roof and there's no hope of being able to buy a house because of how crazy the prices are. So, you may think, oh, I want to work, for a high tech company, for HP or Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever. But then you got to look at, well, what are my living expenses?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't come to Jersey. It's too expensive to live here.
I hear they have good people.
Yes. That's
With
very true.
pineapple.
If you so choose. I mean, that could be an argument for a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Pineapple and ham.
Yes, pineapple name, Hawaiian.
As a person who's just gotten back on the job market, that remote thing, this job can be worked remote. Fantastic. I think a lot of people want that in their next job, or they're looking for remote. But those remote jobs, I had an interview canceled on Tuesday. Somebody had called me and they're like, hey, we got this job and and we were talking, like, and we were all jiving, like, yeah, I can absolutely do that. Oh, that's great. I'm like, wait a minute, is this a go in to the office in Connecticut? Yes. I'm like, oh, sorry, can't do it. She's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have a remote job. Okay, fine. And that had been the week before. And then she reached out to me, goes, I found one. I found a great job. I'm like, awesome. She goes, can we? And I looked it over and like, yeah, I could totally do that. She goes, okay, let's talk right away. I'm like, yeah, I can't talk today, but first thing tomorrow. So it was East Coast. So I'm like, 10 a.m. East Coast time. She's like, sure. And then she canceled because she said the job was remote and they had so many applications.
Wow.
That they shut it down. They're like, they're not even talking to anybody because they got so many applications. I'm like, So those clever people who have the ability to look for job title remote.
That's
yeah.
That's what people have found, that it's nice to be home, or have that flexibility to be home when you need to be.
What I'm saying is those jobs are flooded with applications. So that means you better be really standing out. So it's not just
that could be it.
Got tons of people that are looking. The whole country is looking at that job now. Anybody who's close to that, skill set is putting it in. And the good people, that means the competition is very high. So
that sounds like a future episode to talk about how do you make yourself stand out in a resume.
Ooh, I think so. Or even in a career.
In a career.
How you portray it, but in a career. So all those young people who are like, I'm going to bounce from this place to this place. It's not like that doesn't happen in AV either.
No, that's true.
Yeah, they go from integrator to integrator. I mean, it was they just switched the polo shirt, basically.
I mean, I'm sure it
and
happens
I have
in
that
many
too.
fields. Yeah. I'm sure it happens in many fields, but I know it's very common in the IT field. And as
Yeah.
I always say, AV is IT.
Yes, it is. Yep. No, it is. At this point, I mean, we could go back into that whole realm and argue about, or just not even
We
argue,
don't need to.
because we're all on the same page, so we don't need to bring this up.
Yeah.
Oh, Stormy. Oh, okay. All right. Well, Renee, just be safe in the car. She was
You know,
joining us, and
interesting to ask you. So with so many of the mergers, like here in California, which surprised me with Whitlock merging, and then all of a sudden, I mean, they were like, their offices were 5 minutes away from one another in Pleasanton. And then all of a sudden now, so you have all these salespeople, and obviously they're going to have to change. How is it for you guys when these integrators merge? All of a sudden, it's sort of like you shake your head and go, okay. And now
well,
who
so
coming?
I've had in the last year, I've had two of my, one of them is not my favorite, but one of my favorite integrators was bought out by another larger firm. We actually we followed our sales rep to his new firm that he moved to because we enjoyed working with him so much. So he joined, he got all the paperwork in to join with Rutgers as a distributor for us for that. And then the other company that was bought out that we weren't as big of a fan of, they actually, even though they're with this larger firm now, they're still the same lackluster integrator, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't make a difference to us, like, because at least that my experience has been is that these integration companies are still the same. Like, it doesn't change the culture, it doesn't change anything else, because usually they're buying them to get into that market. So
would you guys prefer to work with a smaller integrator that gives you the customer service, the time of day, the attention, versus the larger because it's the larger company?
So this is me personally speaking, not on behalf of anybody else, but to me, it depends. I don't look at size, but I go to what you were talking about of that relationship.
Yeah.
Being able to rely, or as Murphy says, trust but verify, like being able to, when a manufacturer is saying, oh, these products are going to be back ordered for 6 months, but you can reach out to your integrator and they'll be like, we have a couple in the warehouse, we can hook you up. Or another one is you want to get a demo unit of a product, and the manufacturer's like, well, our policy is you got to go through XYZ, jumping through hoops. So your integrator go, we'll send you a demo. If you like it, we'll just bill you and not send it back. Like, that is what I personally look for. Like those kind of relationships that you can build where you can trust and work and verify each other. To me, the size doesn't matter. It's more that relationship.
Right. No,
right.
that's a very good point. Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, and I was to say all those integration firms that we had the best relationships with were the smaller ones.
Yeah.
So, and it's something changes with the larger ones. I'm not saying it's impossible, but something does change a little bit.
It's processes. I had it as a manufacturing rep firm and working with my vendor that we carried, and all of a sudden we were told, nope, you can't if you can't give special pricing to the reps. It has to go through our PO purchasing department, and then we'll look at it, and all the reps have to send in information. They just can't generate you know what? And the process was, it took too long because they were too back ordered. So these sales reps were losing millions of dollars in sales. And that's what I have often thought of is, the smaller integrators probably are the way to go in a way, because you're getting that attention,
But sometimes they don't have the best buying power. That's the problem.
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But also, I think what is internal processes. I think is very key too, because I know we had an issue where, and I'll be right up front, was the manufacturer and the integrator were both excellent to work with, but they had a lot of, I would say, poor internal processes where we had a product come to us and things had to happen, but the left hand wasn't talking to the right hand, so they didn't know. So we kept getting billed for the product when we weren't supposed to be billed for it, and they couldn't figure out how to, in their internal system, work it out. They kept telling us we are fine, you guys don't owe anything, but they had to work it out internally. That's frustrating. Like, there's a lot of, like Nancy, you were talking about, red tape.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, this is great. Like, this is what I love about this show, is that we were in the PM minute and we were talking about trust but verify, and about working with people, and we've really gone to working with people about staffing and integrators and and manufacturers, and this is awesome. I was like, this is totally unplanned for this part of the episode. And I feel like sometimes some of our best material comes from this.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I
I always like hearing your feedback because, you guys being on the end user side versus, me as a manufacturer, or any role that I've had in the past of, servicing through integrators or even end users. So it's neat. It's good to hear, what you experience.
we are the end
I agree
user,
with that,
and we are the integrator.
Well,
We are
yes.
both.
And the
And I always
In-house
have to be
integrator.
careful because I have to be careful because I never know who listens.
Renee, you're breaking up. Yeah, you're breaking up a bit there, Renee.
You're a robot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think she just dropped out.
Yeah, she said she's she's driving through a storm right now. So
Oh,
just
rainstorm?
just focus on the road, Renee.
I saw this little video clip of somebody who was playing golf in a thunderstorm.
Oh, in the golf
lightning
ball?
bolt hit the golf ball. Like,
That was amazing. I saw that too. I was like, what
Yeah.
what are the odds? But
Just
So
my
never.
husband is super into weather and always super cautious about it. So he's like, don't go swimming in a thunderstorm. I'm like, what are you kidding? And he's like,
No.
that's it right there. You're holding a metal rod and the lightning is going to strike you. I'm like, not that I play golf, but well, Joe has now left the building. He is
But
offended.
it doesn't even matter. I think if you're near a tree, it can strike you
Yeah.
or the tree.
whatever the
Tallest.
tallest negatively charged.
If it rained more around here, we'd probably be scareder because there's a lot of trees.
But also, you don't even need to be trees. Like, this is I'm a big one for, like, I love storms. I personally, one of the jobs I wish I would gotten into is being a storm chaser. I would love to be a
Oh,
storm chaser.
I can see you being a storm chaser.
You
I
need
would
to go
love
to
to
Europe
do.
right now with all the flash floods, like in Germany. I think it's Belgium. And
Oh, forget about that. Here in Jersey, we've been in flash flood. We've had like 3 of them in the last week.
Yeah.
So
And then they're like 100 degrees weather.
Yeah.
But it's I've seen too many. Like, I make sure when we're out on the soccer field to clear the fields of the kids, because I've seen a lot of videos. Like, there's one that I've seen where they're playing a game. You see a flash of light and everyone on the field drops because the
Oh.
light hit the field. The field was wet and it went through every player.
Oh,
oh my
Yeah.
God.
So, like, I don't even joke when it comes to out on a soccer field, but other than that, I would love to chase storms. I love watching storms.
Yeah. What was it? Twister with Helen Hunt. I could see
I
that.
was just pull. Yeah,
My wife loves that movie.
it's a good movie.
Bill Paxton, is it?
Bill Paxton, Philip
Gotta
Seymour
go. We got
Hoffman.
cows.
Moo.
That was a fun one.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good movie. That was like, you know what? I think I need to go watch that. I gotta put that back up on the
No, I'll
to
tell you.
watch.
So when I worked for my company in Toronto and we had the room control system called iRoom against Crestron AMX, all the regional shows I did was I had that damn DVD or VHS to show how you controlled a VCR and I think it was a DVD player and a bunch of stuff. And it was always that movie. And it got to the point that, you know how you kind of hear it, but you don't because you're just so used to it and you just block it out. Oh my gosh. It was always that movie.
You want to talk? Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it was I used to work for Circuit City back in the day, so I could date myself a little bit with that. And I used to do what do they call it? It was like product protection, or I forget what they call it. I'm totally forgetting what it was. Like basically, I was the guy that stood at the front of the store and I checked your receipt on the way out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the entrance to the store was right by televisions. So the television manager, she would always play this Shakira concert. And that is all for one summer. That is all she played. So I would I was working 2 jobs because I was trying to save up for a car that year. So I would go to my day job. I come to this at night, and for 4 or 5 hours on my shift, all I got was Shakira for 5 hours on loop of this DVD of Shakira. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, no, they did not lie, but the same songs over and over and over again. It's like being on It's a Small World just over and over and over again. Eventually, you just get tired of it. So
Shakira.
Well, I'm laughing so hard, Tim, because my son, who now works at Cinemark Theaters, but he was at Target, and he just said, he goes, oh my God, if I was to hear that music one more time, he goes, Mom, you don't understand it. They played it all the time. So, but like I said, you just learn, you just block it out.
I worked for, I was a dishwasher for a high-end restaurant in our town. And he always played Frank Sinatra. I actually found the joy for listening. Like I started listening more to him because of work, not gotten tired, but he would play the same track over and over. So yeah, it was the same couple of songs, but so I didn't get sick of it. I actually started to enjoy it more.
Well, I tell Trader Joe's and sometimes Whole Foods, they have the best 80s music, their playlist. And I'll go up to somebody working there and I'll say, you know what? I'm just staying in your store the whole day because I'm just loving the music.
Well, that's what happened. I was actually at the ShopRite of Morristown yesterday. I was picking up stuff for my dad, and that was what it was. I was walking around the store singing along with everything that was there. It was all like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I was like, wow, I've never heard a playlist like this, like at a store. Like, it was such a great experience.
See, the customer experience. So we have to think about that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So not only, all of these huddle rooms and things, but think about what you're pumping through this speaker system is something enjoyable, although it won't be enjoyable to everybody.
No, that's true. I guess I got lucky. Well, speaking of food and enjoyable and things like that, so the whole point, not the point, but like my goal for this episode was that we would talk a little bit about some of our favorite beverages and some of our favorite summer foods, and we'll share the recipes for these through Twitter as the days go by after the release of this episode. So I'll kick. What was that?
You're calling us out.
I'm calling you out. Yeah.
Gotta do this. Challenge.
It's time to do this now. So I'll start things off. So one of my favorite summer drinks, and actually, well, I guess you could say it's my new summer drink for this summer. Very simple. Lemonade and it's a family made ginger from Marble Distillery in Colorado. It's a family recipe. I don't know what that recipe is. But but like citrus and spice, and it's a liqueur. They are a very sustainable distillery as well. So they recycle a lot of the water that is used, and everything is managed very environmentally friendly. It's also, when I say family owned, it's actually in my family, so that's why. So,
Neat.
long story short, I'm adopted. I met my birth mother. It's actually my birth mother's sister, so it is part of my family, and yeah, so it's my
Okay.
aunt. Yes.
That's great.
So so I do lemonade and a little bit of the ginger cello, and have myself a little spiked lemonade. So it's
Can you buy it
very
anywhere?
good. Ordered online, marbledistillery.com, I believe.
Deliver the alcohol to your door.
Yes.
Woo.
I will look.
not a liqueur person, but I do love Italian limoncello. So
Mhm.
that might
Yeah,
be.
it's kind of in that. Yeah, and they have a vodka, and they have a whiskey, and so a bunch of stuff at on their website. Oops, and I'm typing in the wrong field right now.
Marble Distillery?
Yep, like marble the rock.
Yep.
Marbledistilling.com. So
Oh, there it is.
there it is. Yes.
Cool.
Um,
Oh,
yeah.
legal age? I don't know. Am I legal age?
So yeah, and they also have an inn out there too, so you could visit and stay, and so it's I'll do a big family plug for them on the show. So
Yeah.
so what else? Oh, Murphy has dropped off, and we've been left with a drawing on as her profile.
Apparently my daughter has put a little something up there. It's a dog.
It's
or a
cute.
cat.
It was
It's
cute. It was so yeah. So for those who are wondering, you need to go and watch the YouTube video. Oh, quickly. And we'll get back to alcohol and things like that. Our YouTube channel, all of the videos are now public. So
Woo.
you could go and search for them on YouTube. You can also still view them at higheradav.com. That is not changing. They will all be there, but now they will also be available on YouTube. So you can become a subscriber. So when you get there, click the little subscribe button in the corner and follow the AV life, especially leading up to InfoComm, because when I get down there, I'll be doing live video from down there. So you will be able, and I will find everybody that I can, and maybe you could get on live YouTube with me while we're down there. So anyway, it was cute, Murphy, your little
Cute.
profile picture. So I think you should keep it.
I think so.
Well, maybe not professionally going forward, but I think it's still cute.
For today.
For today, yes. All right. So what else? What else do we have? Oh, it could also be food. It doesn't have to be alcoholic. I know I said alcohol, but it doesn't have to be. So what's everyone's favorite summer beverage? Like, especially on like these hot days. Murphy, you were saying it was like 82 degrees in your house before. So
yes, my office. Woo, 84 now. Do you feel the glow?
hey,
I got up to open the door. Okay, it's gonna get crazy here for a second, but my crepe myrtle is blooming. It's very pretty. I can whoa, hello.
Whoa, we're going on a tour of Murphy's office. Oh, is that the purple flowers out there?
Yeah, the pink flowers. That's my
Pink.
husband's
Okay.
display case of all of his ships, which he sells. Anyway, his personal collection, but
very cool.
We're not going to get into that. Anyway,
you will also have to go to YouTube. You'll have to go watch the video to see all that stuff too. So.
Oh yeah, because you are joining us both visually and audibly. Audibly. But yeah, so it is gorgeous. It is so pretty. These flowers are just poof. They're called crepe myrtle, and they're just like these. I think of them as like Dr. Seuss flowers, because they're kind of impossibly colorful and amazing. And so this is their blooming time. And I feel like my life is magical that it is now full of these gorgeous things that my backyard. See, I don't know if you can see that. It looks like that.
Ooh,
Really pretty. So like, wow.
very nice.
That building there is the building that I'm in. Facing
It's
this
a nice blue.
my
That's a nice
office.
blue house.
Yeah, the house is over there, and this is my office. So, and the garage
Very
is
cool.
attached. But yeah, anyway, I
Ja-
love my home. It's wonderful.
James is shaking his head. Oh, are we breaking all of your security? Yep. There's the background.
Somebody's gonna find me.
You never know. Now
Well,
they know.
This is a fenced yard, so
You ever heard of satellites?
Or drones. What about drones?
Drones.
I'm gonna tell you, yes, I had to come
Google
to
Map.
terms with the fact that someone can find me. I live a actually rather public life. I post every single day. I have like a lot of Twitter followers, and no doubt somebody gave me a reason to feel a little creepy, and I thought, should I block this guy? I thought about it, like, no, I don't think so. I've actually, because I was raised more on the internet than anywhere else, I feel like I've got pretty good, just in conversation. I know not to get into certain places and do decent, rerouting. But also, I live very much online. My face is out there, so absolutely someone could find me if that's what they wanted to do. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
But hey, I got my martial arts coming at you.
There you go.
Yeah, you get punched in the face, and you can punch people in the
I
face.
can punch back.
Yeah.
My sensei tells us we have a special class called Everyday Carry. It is not legal. It would be very, very difficult to have a license to have a concealed gun carrying. So that would be very good at defending yourself. A pretty big responsibility to carry around a gun that people don't know you have. And it's not something that I can do because I'm not licensed to do so. But he has this class called Everyday Carry. Like, what could you use in your everyday life that would be around you to defend yourself with? And he says, hey, if somebody is coming at you to do you harm, you need to be willing to do harm to them. So go,
Pepper spray.
second knuckle. No, my friend, that is one way. Second knuckle in the eyeball. Bury it up to the second knuckle. That will stop.
Oh,
depending on how tall they are.
Oh, I was like second knuckle. I'm like, do I have to bend my finger and like do?
If you're 5'3",
that's how deep.
Like 6'4".
Well, sure. And for a 6'4" person, you might want to use the other thing that Sensei Fabio tells us. Reach for the groin, squeeze, twist, and yank. Yeah, that will stop a person. So don't.
Yeah.
Not sure if I want to be touching.
This is, you brought up security and safety. And so if I am in a place where someone is assaulting me, I have some options that I've thought through that I could do to render that person not a threat. So yeah, I mean, he's like, hey, and he also cringes. He's like, look, but if someone is coming at you and they're bringing the violence to you, you need to render that person not a threat. And so don't do it halfway. Don't get like, get in there, make it stop.
Go all the way.
Yes. Double second knuckle in the eyeball.
Not grabbing.
Yeah. Go touch the brain. Get in there.
Well, this is
use words. Use words.
And of course, the best thing is to get away from a person. If you have the ability to get away, do that. At any point, if you can get away, do that. But if a person is up on you, be serious about it and render that person incapable of hurting you and your family or other people. Get it done. So I have learned also that elbows are extremely strong. Punching is actually kind of hard to do right. But if you get right in their throat, that's damaging. And even a woman has the ability to do that on a strong dude.
Again, depending on how tall they are, if you're short.
Um,
I guess there are some advantages to being 6'4", but not that I'm attacking very many women. Yeah.
You're talking yourself out of this ability to defend yourself. This elbow can go into the solar plexus, can go into the into the liver and really render somebody in pain, and will stop somebody. So and actually yeah, so don't think that you like, oh, he's tall, I don't know what to do. Stop, I don't want you to hurt me. That's not the way to be. But you can get somebody in the back, you can do these things, and if you think it through, it allows you to make decisions in the moment to defend yourself and render that person. Because there is a really big dude that I practice with. He's terrifying. Oh my God, he's so big. I'm so glad he's a nice guy. And so we practice together, and you can totally arms swing wide. Do you really think you couldn't reach somebody's throat if you were swinging wide? I mean, how tall are you? 4'2"?
Thank goodness, no. I would say if it ever were anything that where my boys were involved, I'd beat the hell out of anybody.
Right.
So
The motherly instinct. There you go.
And so and you want that to be effective. So I've discussed some pretty gross things, but just talking about security, that is one aspect of personal, may I say, layer 0 security. But these other things are important too, James. I mean, making sure that you protect your data and do your best to protect your information that you really don't want to go out there. I have made the choice to live rather publicly, and I am really careful about what I communicate, so
I just know I live a boring life and no one wants to look me up. So
yeah, I hear you about that, James. It's like, yeah.
That's another way of doing it. Yeah. So anyway, that's a lot of information.
All right. So, all right. Well, as we sidetracked again, so summer beverages. What do we got? So even non-alcoholic. That's where I was going with this. Before we, what's your favorite thing to sit out on like the deck or out on the beach and enjoy in nice weather, or if you're not a beach person, out in the woods or something?
Okay, this is the most simple thing ever. So my lemon tree is almost done producing lemons, but when it was full of lemons, I would squeeze just a whole bunch of lemon, maybe like half a lemon, into water and ice. No sugar, just lemony water. And it was pretty good. I would have that like every day.
I've heard that's also very good for you too. Like it's like a cleanse. Like,
yeah, I drink that every day, lemon and water.
Yeah. And so It's refreshing because the sugar. It's like, oh, sugar. We're supposed to not have sugar. So even my daughter, my 12-year-old sugar-loving daughter, kind of enjoyed it. So, ooh, and if you want to get fancy, slices of cucumber.
Ooh.
Very.
That's like that gourmet water stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Apple would do that in their cafeteria, or it's called Cafe Max. And they would have the lemon, and then they would do a mixture of lemon and cucumber, but then they do another one where it had actually orange. I'm thinking strawberry, but they'd mix them up, and they're refreshing.
I have strawberries growing out here too. They don't seem to do it. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know.
Jersey strawberries. That's where it's at.
I bet my
Jersey has some of the best produce. So.
What does Jersey not have?
We have everything. State. Yeah, we're the Garden State. Rutgers also produced a tomato that is regularly used here in the state as well. So.
Oh, like invented a type of tomato?
It's like it's a bigger. There's a Rutgers tomato, so
hybrid, right?
It's like a hybrid, yeah. It's a little beefier, a little more resilient, better taste, So. Yeah. Side note to your lemon water comment there. I pulled open my Turkey Hill lemonade that I had as part of my beverage, and I have 39 grams of sugar for every 12 ounces of this. It only has 10% fruit juice, which is about what you probably put in your water anyhow. So I don't know where all this other stuff comes in, and it probably shouldn't be this bright yellow as it is, but
Yep.
it still tastes good.
Well, that's it. That's why they're reeling you in.
They're
Put it back in
definitely
the
hooking me.
refrigerator. I thought I was out. They pulled me back in.
Okay,
So-
so Tim, you come from a family now of beverage creators.
yes.
So do you have your own? What's your beverage?
Well, I mean, I mix things of already existing product. That's all I do. I actually have one of those Mr. Beer kits in my workshop area.
Mr. Beer meets
behind-
Mr. Potato. Mr. Potato says beer, and Mr. Beer says, "Have you tried vodka?"
Yeah. I haven't. So yeah, I haven't gone down the distilling route of hard alcohols yet. But
You're using your bathtub
But-
for other things.
was that?
You use your bathtub for other things.
Yeah, I use it for my showers.
Bathing.
For what? Yeah, I don't fit in a bathtub, so it's.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
too.
That's
I'm too
right.
tall for that.
I forgot you're the.
Wait, how tall are you?
I'm 6'4". So it's funny how you brought up
Shit.
6'4" like that. I
Really?
was like, yeah, I am a tall person of AV. I am a TPOAV.
Okay, so
So yeah.
Holy crap.
you're Jackson.
Tom Milner, he's like 6'4", 6'3". And then Mark Coxton is like 6'4", I think.
I think he's 5 or 6.
And then I know I'm just surprised. I didn't know you were that tall, but then I
Well,
haven't
that's the
seen you yet.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like this is the thing when you have, you do these events and stuff like that virtually is that, you don't get to know people. I
We're all
can't
the same
wait
height
to.
on Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. We're all torso to head, whatever that works out to be.
And she's not
Um,
telling us. Wait, James, what's your stats here?
What, my height?
Yeah.
Stature, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear. I thought she said status.
Yeah, I thought
Well,
status.
I was like, wait, what? My height? I'm like 5'11".
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 5'11".
Oh, really?
I'm the
Oh, see,
tallest
then
lady.
you would be a tall person of AV, Murphy, because
Yeah.
by the women ranking.
in
So
the,
yeah,
in the women's league. Yeah.
yes.
There's another, and I forget who. She and I were talking on the dearly departed AV Happy Hour.
I know. I miss that happy hour.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
Good times.
It was just so, but it was so great because we got to meet people
Hmm.
and, that you ordinarily wouldn't. And then, you were looking forward to, well, if there's a trade show, and now it's like, you don't even get to talk to, you feel disconnected, I think is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So-
Murphy.
Yeah. But there was another woman who was out of New York. And I forget her name, but she was also the same height as me. We were just talking about. I think we were talking about how women get treated on construction sites, and I was saying perhaps I get less hassled because I'm tall. She's like, I'm tall too, and so we were comparing notes a little bit.
And then you've got the short people of AV that are the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
5'3".
Yeah. See, that would be Nancy. That would be Gina,
not
Michelle.
Nancy's like, but busting down against average, low end of average.
It's a different way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, put my heels on.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, and then my daughter, who has achieved 5'4" at age 12, is I'm like, oh, you're a small woman. She goes, I'm not small. I'm average height for women. I'm like, okay.
All right.
I think
My daughter, who's 11, she's almost as tall as me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Whoa.
she is tall.
She's gonna be sad. She's gonna be tall. She's
Yeah.
gonna pass you, James.
11?
I think.
Yeah, I think she's over my shoulder, so he's getting there.
Oh, she may. Yeah, she may catch you.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Those
the
are
same.
good.
Yeah, that's the same as my boys. I don't know where they got their height, but my youngest is 5'9.5", and my eldest is almost 6 feet.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
the joke around the house is that they reach for stuff in the cupboard for me. And actually, I'll tell you a funny joke. So one day at Target, I had my youngest with me, and I wanted something on the top shelf. So I turned to a Target worker and I said, "Hey, can you get this for me?" And my son turns to me, he said, "And what am I?"
Ah,
I got it. And I never thought to ask him. But that's the frustrating part is you can't get the stuff. You try to stand up on the bottom shelf and reach over, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I've been asked multiple times while out in the store, "Hey, can you get that for me up there?"
James.
Yes.
For your daughter, who is of considerable height at a young age, please encourage her to stand up straight and put her shoulders back, because a lot of times women will hide their height.
Oh no, I definitely work with her. We use her height to her advantage on the soccer field.
Yeah, but encourage her, stand up straight, because 11 is on the cusp of body shame, although body shame is constant. But I would encourage you, give her lots of support in this.
Oh yeah, and she loves it because then.
What advice can I give to somebody?
Yeah, no, see, it's a good advice, but she definitely likes her height because she likes thrill rides, so she can get on all the roller coasters.
Oh, okay.
Like Great Adventure, she's been on every single ride at Great Adventure.
Wow.
Yeah, even Zumazaro and Kinaka, which is Kinaka is still the tallest roller coaster in the world.
Oh, I thought it was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's no longer the fastest, but it's still the tallest. Yeah.
All right, we got that going for us. All right. Oh, all right. So
are you going to Infocom?
Yes.
No, Tim. Tim.
Yes.
You are. Okay. So I'll meet you guys there then.
Yep. So yeah, I will be there.
Are you going?
I'll wear the tallest shoes possible so that I don't have to completely look up and strain my neck. How's that?
I'll have to figure out if I gotta wear a hat so that way people know where I am all the time, throughout the floor. Yeah. So
Dora that says Tim.
Yeah, something like that, or like a beanie with the thing on top, and
yeah. Oh yeah.
My CIO is extremely tall. I don't know how tall he is, but we always say when we're doing events and stuff, and we need to find him. It's look over everyone's head because his head will be popping out.
Yep. And I'm used as the either the leader or the tail person on group outings. My wife and I used to volunteer for our youth group, and we went to New York City with the kids. I either stayed at the very front or I stayed at the very back, because we always told the kids, it's if you see me and I'm leading the group, you're okay. But if I'm in the back and you're looking at the back of my head, you need to catch up. So.
And then, so how tall is your wife then, Tim?
Oh, she's 5'10". So, and my little guy, my little guy at 6 years old is 52 inches. So yeah, he's 4'4". So he's a little giant for a 6-year-old.
Wait, so as a 6'4" person, did you get were you encouraged to do sports, or did that one pass you by?
Oh no, I was doing sports already. I've always been active since I was a kid. Actually, funny, one of the first things I did was I did gymnastics. Was the first thing I did. It was like a rec thing in my town. So I did gymnastics first, and then I
that horse thing. And were you doing boy gymnastic stuff?
Oh, and not like that. They were it's you went on the uneven bars and you spun over, and then you spun over to the next one, and that was okay, that was it, yay. And then you'd walk on the balance beam, and that was about it. So or you'd was at the vault, where you'd run over, you'd jump off the springboard, and you would just jump on top, and then you go, yay, I did it, and then jump down. So it's not like gymnastics
you weren't style yet. Okay.
Yeah. And what was that movie? Stick It, is that what it was called?
Yeah, there was a movie called that.
Okay.
Yeah, the one girl is friends with skater guys, and she's doing she's all rock and roll and things like that. And yeah, it was a gymnastics movie. So yeah, no, not like that, and not like, USA gymnastics type stuff. So, and I am super excited for the Olympics, by the way. So even though there's gonna be nobody in attendance like we talked about last week, but
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I can't
And
wait.
why is that? For the athletes?
I just love
they get to
yeah.
compete and
Well,
yeah. Although
Olympic.
I'm scared. I'm
Okay.
scared for our U.S. men's basketball team though this year. They're not stepping up, and it's hard when you have a history of winning the way that the United States has in basketball to have them not doing that well this year. It's a little
is it
disconcerting.
different players?
Yeah, every year it's different players, but they're all NBA players. They are literally the best in the world, and they're not the best in the world.
So there's a thing, and that almost goes back to the I wouldn't go PMN, but something we were talking about earlier, about like teamwork and stuff. And an example I use was during the last men's World Cup for soccer. The final team was Costa Rica and trying to think of the other team. But Costa Rica was not a team that should have made it to the final. They had no real superstar. Like, they didn't have Messi, they didn't have Ronaldo, but they were a team and they played as a team. In fact, when they went to the World Cup, they did have one player who was semi a name player, and the coach looked at him and go, "You're going to be my key sub." And the guy goes, "I'm not a sub." Coach goes, "Go home," and sent him home. Didn't play in the World Cup because he was about team. Of course, Costa Rica did not win the World Cup, but they made it to the final because they played as a team.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is these pro athletes nowadays, especially like I would say our United States pro athletes, they're very selfish. They're not a team. I mean, I kind of use this as an example. You look at the Dallas Cowboys, you put them on paper, they should be winning every game. They have almost the best talent out there in the NFL, but they can't play as a team.
Okay,
Yep.
This goes back to the hacks thing. I was talking to my brother, old school nerdaroo, actually database administrator guy, okay? Long time. And I was like, why is the internet broken? Everything's just like disintegrated. It's not working anymore. Things aren't like connected. For a minute there, they kind of were. And he's like, people aren't doing the practices that people learned how to do. They're not documenting properly. They're not making sure that all the things are connected. They're not doing the like documentation inside the programming so that you know what you're doing, so that you can like integrate the pieces and you know what it does and where it begins and ends and stuff. And this is also true of sports, is they're doing the hacks. They're like, I'm going to get really good at this one particular thing. Like in my case, throw an elbow, right? I can be really good at throwing an elbow, but if I'm really good at throwing an elbow, but don't know how to stand straight, not going to get me anywhere. And they're not remembering that it's the team that gets you there. They're like, I'm going to be great, you know? And my fandom of basketball began very early in Kobe's career, not the very beginning, but early when Shaq and Kobe were playing together. And Kobe had to learn how to be part of a team. Pass the ball. Pass the freaking ball. You got to know how to do this. You got to know how to do the plays. You got to know how to set yourself up for success. Big picture.
Yeah. And that's what I liked. Speaking of NBA, that's why I liked about the Spurs there for a while. With like Tim Duncan and all them, like they played basic basketball, and it got them championships because everybody was involved and they stuck to the plays and made sure everyone was involved, and that's how they won. And it was so great to watch it. Like I'm a Michael Jordan fan, so like I will get in on the LeBron Jordan debate any day, but I'm not even going to get into it now, but
like I could, but I won't.
Yeah, I could. That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother day. But right now, like with the Spurs, like it was something different. And like Jordan was Jordan, and Jordan was amazing, and he was surrounded by with great players as well. But it was different with the Spurs. Like Tim Duncan was their big guy, but well, literally and figuratively. But that team was a team, and they made it work. So yeah, it's very similar to all the stories you guys just told.
Yeah. Murphy, going on to the whole the passing the ball thing, that is, I actually saw this in a movie, and I actually use it as an example on a soccer field. The movie was a soccer movie, and this outstanding player, I think it was in United States or something, went over to play in Europe, and he was the fastest player on the team, but he was a ball hog. And so what the coach did during one practice is like, he's like, Sam, here with me. He's like, now run into that goal. So the guy would take off as fast as he can. Coach would kick the ball. Ball will always get there first. He's like, ball moves quicker than you can. Pass the ball. And I use that example with the teams I coach. I was like, ball will move quicker than you can. And that's why we pass the ball to the people that open. And that also goes with the whole, there was a Colombia player, I think, I'm trying to think of his name, but he was very talented with the ball. So he would always get double teamed during any soccer match. But he was very talented with the ball. So he was always asking for the ball. And his teammates would be like, but you're always double teamed. And he goes, I know. If there's two players on me, it means one of you is open. I know who it is. Mm-hmm. So that's what he was saying. It's like, give me the ball. I'll get it to the guy who's open.
Yeah. You got to learn what's going to happen and play the whole field, not just your own. And that's part of what these kids these days need to learn. Like, hey,
get off my grass.
Get off my lawn. Get off my plane. No, wait. Oh, no, not that movie.
And this brings up something that I've been kind of considering talking about. There's a lot of debate in different places, as restaurants in particular have that sign up saying, some of them do, we are sorry, we can't find workers. Your service is not going to be as good as we would like it to be. So there's a lot of debate about, they should be paid more, and then they would find workers, because, it's the thing about, are they paid more with unemployment?
Well, it's guaranteed money. Like that's, as opposed to if you get a bad shift and you don't get tips.
Well, it's not even that. It's guaranteed money for a short period of time. That money's running out. And that it goes back to the earlier conversation we had, is most people nowadays are short-term, short memory. They see I can make $1,000 on unemployment, so I'm not going to go get a job, because I'm getting this unemployment checks. But that money's running out, where if you had a job, that money's not running out.
And more than that, yeah, you might make less. Why would you go work somewhere to make less? Because it's a building block. You're gaining the experience and learning how to work on a team. You're gaining the experience to get to the next level. And it's not a hack. It's a grind. You got to show up. You got to do it and get a reputation.
So here's an interesting thing that just popped into my head, that, it was always when I was younger and, I started like getting full-time jobs, they always wanted to make sure you didn't have a gap in employment. Is the last 15 to 18 months going to be considered an acceptable gap in employment? Is it going to, or are people going to start to question the fact that people didn't go back to work when they probably could have gone back to work?
I think it's going to be one of those case by case basis, because let's use me for example, worked 12 years in higher education, and then, didn't have a job, say Stockton closed, so say the university closed, I was out of job. That gap is going to look different than someone who, worked at Wawa for 6 months, and then, worked at Target, and then took 16 months off and didn't do anything, There, I think it's going to look different. I think it's all depends on your history prior to COVID. That's my thought.
No, I agree.
It's
I
gonna
agree.
depend on how desperate they are for the work.
That too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And somebody needs to explain to me, because I've seen it on Twitter. What is Wawa?
One of the best convenience stores in
You know
America.
what Sheets is? You ever heard
What?
of Sheets?
No.
Quick check.
I'm the West Coast.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what's on the West Coast.
It's a
Where's-
convenience store. We would call it a 7-Eleven, right?
Oh, okay, there you go.
7-Eleven, but it also has gas,
AM,
and the
PM.
food's really good.
Oh,
The food
really?
is good.
Yeah.
I'd
Oh,
say that's something in France then.
Yeah.
'Cause that's like your beefed up, your what would they call it with your car? We're pimped up. Your pimped up side service road type of place that
Mhm.
has everything and anything in it, including a massage place. And yeah.
Well, not quite that far, but yeah, it's Pip
The
my
food's really
convenience
good.
store.
I think it's been Chris Netto who has talked about Wawa, but I never knew what it was.
Yeah. While run, it's kind of like a Dunkin'. You can kind of think of it like a Dunkin', but more food varieties. It sells.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's not
down
a
where
grocery
we
store.
are.
It's not like Kroger's or
No, it's not a
what-
grocery store. It's you get like sandwiches. You can get coffee. They have really good coffee.
Yeah, they do.
Coffee, you get drinks, candy.
Their
Like,
iced tea. Their iced tea is really good too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Their iced tea is pretty good. I just sent a link to their website. They started now making bread in store for their sandwiches.
Oh,
And they also have a lot of summer drinks like smoothies and milkshakes and all these other drinks.
so have
It's
they been
really
around
good.
for a while then?
What?
Have they been around for a while?
Yes, but they started. They're actually from Wawa, Pennsylvania,
Oh,
and they really were in New Jersey and I think some Pennsylvania area, but now they're almost up and down the East Coast.
okay.
Yeah, they were for the longest time just in South Jersey.
Yeah,
Like there was a time where like I would go visit family in Tom's River and I'd make sure that I
Not South Jersey.
stopped at Wawa. What?
not South Jersey.
It is South Jersey.
No.
That's like it's anyway.
Yeah.
There's
I-
debate even on that, even though Tom's River is basically like the neighboring town to Seaside, and Seaside is down the shore, and that's South Jersey. To those of us that are north, that is South Jersey. But anyway, we'd make it a point to stop at Wawa before we came back home back north, because there were none.
in North Jersey.
I don't know any more north than there, I think.
Yeah,
So-
I have 3 in my town, and 2 of
Well, there
them
you
are
go.
gas stations as well. So, but also I found one thing interesting about them is they like to try out products in different stores to see what sells. So like they used to have this pretzel sandwich they call a sizzly. It was turkey bacon ranch on a pretzel roll. Really good. I loved it. But I never knew which one would have it because each one would be different. And I actually messaged them on Twitter. I tweeted about it, and they messaged me back saying that's what they do because they want to see what sells. And my wife loves their broccoli cheddar soup. So whenever she wants it, we load the app to see which one in town has the soup. Then that's the one I drive to.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at you. You
Now,
love
Murphy,
your
would you
life.
ever look at being so excited to go to a 7-Eleven for food?
It's better than a 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
Trust
it's way better.
Not
Yeah.
since I not since I left my early 20s. It was pretty exciting when you could get the Slurpees that were like enormous. And
Oh, see, I never did any of that. So
yeah,
Oh.
you're a refined taste Canadian.
y-
So
yeah.
yeah, and then they had, oh my gosh, you could do the the nachos. You'd like completely fill it with cheese, substitute sauce, and the chili on top of it, and that was like, that was exciting.
And we just passed 7-Eleven day, like free Slurpee day.
Oh,
And
oh,
it feels like it went really quietly this year. Like usually
Oh,
it's like a big thing. Like come and get your free small Slurpee. And that I didn't hear anything about it this year. Maybe it's COVID. It's like we don't want everyone here. Don't come.
yeah.
we can't
And
find people to serve, so
Well, that too.
yeah, another famous thing from Wawa is their Gobbler sandwiches.
The
which are-
gobbler.
look at
It's
this.
just basically a Thanksgiving meal on a sandwich, but they also do it in a bowl now.
It's like mashed
Oh.
potatoes and turkey.
Mashed potato,
yeah.
turkey, gravy, stuffing, cranberry sauce,
All in a sandwich?
all on
All
a
year
sandwich.
round. right?
No, it's not year round. They only have it around
Ay,
like
ay.
September to October, November. They have it.
The
and
best.
they-
Oh, sorry.
and then they started adding sweet potato too, so you can either get mashed potato or sweet potato or a mixture of them. It's really good. It's
So my first experience was the very first Infocom I went to, Philadelphia. And working for my company out of Toronto, I had a turkey cranberry mayo sandwich and I was sold.
yeah.
And it was the best. And I went back home and I started making that and people couldn't understand, why are you putting cranberry sauce with it? And I said, this is what they do in Philadelphia and it's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
really good. I'm not a big one for mashed potatoes. I like sweet potatoes, but I'm not a big one for mashed potato. But I'll get a cold, what they call a cold gobbler. So it's not no gravy on it, but sliced turkey, mayo, cranberry, stuffing, and it's so good.
Well, and actually,
we were-
speaking of sandwich place, there's the Earl of Sandwich, which is down at Disney Springs in Orlando, and they also have their own Thanksgiving dinner on a sandwich. I forget what they call it though, but yeah, I think they only have that around that time. Like it's like October to like December, and that's about only when you can get it down there. So
Well, what's cool is that when I go down to Orlando, is Epcot's having their food and drink festival, and I'm going to be there.
I can't wait. I'm so excited for
Taking
that.
it Saturday, Sunday, boo, like you said, it's completely sold out, but going to go during the day. And I can't tell you how long it's been since I've been to Disney World, but with the 50th anniversary, I'm going. I
Exactly.
have to get stuff for my son. So
That's the big push. I want to get all that done. So when I go to Infocom, I don't have to worry about anything else. And if I manage to get to Disney Springs, it's only bonus. So I thought about upgrading my ticket, but I'm like, I'm just gonna no, I'm not gonna do it.
yeah. I remember the one year when I was there for Infocom, Diversified had a great big party at the bowl. So they have, it's called Downtown Disney, but at Disney World, it's called
Disney Springs.
Disney Springs.
Used to be downtown Disney.
It used to
And-
be called Downtown Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's the bowling alley place. And that's where they,
Oh, Lucky Strike.
yeah, I guess that's where
Yeah.
they had their night with drinks and everything. And it was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone's listening, there's plenty of options at Disney Springs if you want to take some of us customers out for drinks and fun down at Disney Springs.
Mm.
So I actually get to make my dining reservations on August the 10th. So I am very excited for that. So I think I'm taking the day off from work just to be home to make the reservations and then to relax for the rest of the day.
Well, I'm waiting for Disneyland Paris because it's 11 months and then you can book. So
Oh,
that's what I'm waiting for. But you know what the sad part is? All the hotels are American based. So they've just opened the Marvel. They've got in New York. I don't want to go to Paris to attend these American hotels. But the same is that they have like Five Guys burgers. So all of their restaurants in, as we say, downtown Disney, they're all American based. So it takes it it really takes sort of the, the excitement out of going because it's all American.
That's true. All right.
So this is funny because we were all going to share recipes, but instead we're sharing restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's AV life.
Yeah, exactly. Best made plans, so. So all right, so maybe we won't share recipes. I mean, we could still share recipes. We could. So as you're listening to this episode, because I know we're already like an hour and 40 minutes in on this episode, so or somewhere in that realm. If you have recipes of your favorite drinks and food and stuff like that, respond to the tweet on Monday when we send this, or when you're now listening to this on Monday. Find the tweet, reply with your recipe. We'll share it out to all the AV tweeps. We'll do hashtag AV tweeps. We'll do hashtag AV foodie, because I know that one's been used a bunch. And then that way we'll share the wealth. And I will get Joe Way's Mai Tai recipe and the cactus cooler recipe. I will attach a link to Marble Distillery, and then anything else that pops up, we'll share it, and that we'll give everyone some new things to try over the next few weeks before the summer ends. So we'll take a quick stab at the firing range. And then we'll wrap things up tonight. This article comes to us that astronomers now have calculated that there are 1,715 stars in our galactic neighborhood that have an unobstructed view of the Earth during human civilization. So they have some of the best seats in the house. So this leads to say, are we alone out here? I know this is the constant argument of, is it just us? Are we like the perfect big blue dot that is, out in the middle of space? And of these 1,715 stars who have a great view, best seats in the house, are there other species out there? We're not going to split up because there's only the four of us now. So hopefully it sounds like Renee was almost home. So it sounds like she's good.
For years, we talk about the pyramids, we talk about Easter Island, we talk about all of these different formations that there is no way back then they had any type of technology to be able to put them together. So did they have help? The question. I personally have seen one in the air. So I will say that, yes, they are. Saw one in Toronto, and there's no way with the zigzagging and zoom and quick and then disappear that you'd say that was a shooting star or a meteor or an airplane or anything like that. So I honestly believe, and there's too much in the way of that people have witnessed and experienced. So yeah.
I don't know where I personally feel, but I do remember reading a article that basically says Earth, where it's located, is the prime location for life. If Earth was I'm trying to recall the direct information, but even if it was like a couple inches away or closer to the sun, life wouldn't live on Earth. Like we wouldn't have life. So it's like the perfect distance that we can still have life. No other planet is like that. So that was their argument. Right, wrong. I don't know. I've been wrong so many times. I lost count. If they're out there, they don't want to deal with us.
Well, I will say I am hoping we are not alone. I agree with Nancy. Like there's too much video evidence out there. Where some of them have been explained away, whatever, it's test pilots from an Air Force base or something like that. But I think for the most part, yeah, like there's just Yeah, what?
Then
But
explain
here's the thing,
why.
like,
Sorry, no, go.
I was gonna say, it's like, as you said, James, is like, we are very specific on where we are in the solar system. Now, we are not the only solar system that's out there. So there is probably, and of the millions and millions of, there's got to be some place else that has adapted to whatever they are, wherever they are, to be able to thrive and to be able to exist on a different planet. Now, are these aliens or species, are they going to breathe oxygen just like us? Probably not. Like, but who's to say they haven't adapted to breathe methane or something like that? I've watched a lot of sci-fi over the years, so like it's
My
one
only
of the,
problem with sci-fi movies is it bothers me that they all feel that alien race are light years advanced in technology in us, but we always seem to beat them in any battle. That's my only.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, these aliens are light years ahead of us in technology, but we always win. But we can't even unmute ourselves on Zoom.
Yeah. Now, I'll also give you another example. So years and years ago, my rep firm, when I worked for AMX out in Colorado, we were talking about UFOs and things and experiences, and he believed in them for the fact because he actually knew of farmers who had their cattle out there all of a sudden, and he said it was such a precision that was drawn into the eyes and into the organs and things that there was absolutely no explanation.
Wow.
So
That's a little crazy.
Yeah. So I think there is.
All right, where do you stand, Murphy?
That our search for intelligent life is very restricted to how we are. We are thinking in terms of another form of life being animals like we are. I don't think they are. I think there might be some, if it's there, it is more likely that, James, you said they would have adapted to like breathe a methane. Well, maybe they don't breathe. So maybe it's some other form of like energy or something, a consciousness inside of an energy that's so different from what we are that we keep missing it. I mean, Nancy, you have an experience. You saw something that was something, maybe that wasn't the thing itself. Maybe that was the thing, the entity playing with the yo-yo.
Or I've always used this. I used to drive my, this going off the yo-yo analogy you were talking about. I drove my niece crazy when she was high school age, but now she's out of college and getting married. I used to tell her, what if we were nothing but someone's pot dream? And we're not real. And she would get really freaked out.
Ooh. That's funny. You actually know one of my favorite parts of a sci-fi movie was the end of Men in Black. And it was like when it's Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith and are talking at the end, and he's like, oh, there's, whatever, we're not really alone, or that, we're the biggest creatures or something like that. And he was trying to wrap his head around the small galaxy that was on the charm of the cat. And then he opens up the locker, and they're inside of a giant locker room in like this other alien like world where they're the small ones and things like that. Like the entire universe is inside of a locker in some sort of galactic train station. It's like that's really cool. So yeah, maybe we are just hanging out in a train station somewhere. Platform 9 3/4.
Ooh. There are so many things in this, and so many things that are possible. we can only imagine what we can imagine. There's so much more that's bigger than us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you're very minded if you don't believe that there's other things than just us on Earth.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many different, there's dimensions and there's other galaxies, and it's just that we can't see beyond that right now. You know, we're getting there. We're getting to Mars and thinking about, you know, colonizing on other planets, but still, I don't even know how that's going to happen with lack of oxygen and radiation and stuff. So
yeah, we might be scaring away potential visitors. You know, they look at our planet and go, nope, not going there. It's like getting off the wrong edge.
COVID, they're like, time out, no.
But it's like getting off at the wrong exit on the highway and going, I don't belong here. It's like, okay, back on. Like, it's like, let's keep going. Roll them up. So
yeah,
they're like that kid gif where it's like runs out, it's like ooh, and runs back. It's like, nope, I'm out of here.
It's like, nope. Well, be kind to the earth. You may be scaring away aliens. So yeah, that should be a t-shirt. I feel like, you know, it's like I'm trademarking that right now. So if anyone makes the t-shirt, I get a cut of it.
I visited the UFO museum in Albuquerque back in the 90s. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was run by the granddaughter or the daughter of the guy who had been involved with finding the crash site. Nice,
that's cool. All right. I was gonna say I haven't been out that way to be able to visit any of those spots, so I gotta add that to my list.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was a fun night tonight. I know we didn't quite talk about things that, you know, I had planned, but you know, it's fine. It's always a great conversation here on the AV Life. I hope you all enjoyed it tonight. I hope Joe and Renee are okay. It sounds like Renee made it home safe, like I said before. Joe is dealing now with the lockdown in Orange County, so we wish him the best.
Yeah. Los
Angeles.
Yeah.
Oh, lost it. I thought it was Orange. I thought it was all
LA. I think he said.
Oh, LA County. Sorry, LA County, not Orange County. My brain is in Florida, so it's LA County. Yeah. So yeah, we wish him the best of luck dealing with that and everything. So yeah, you know, come find us on YouTube if you're listening to us on one of your podcasts, and if you're watching the YouTube video, go to any of your favorite podcast places and listen to us. higheredav.com, and you know, we'll see you hopefully in a week or so, and we'll so yeah, we were gonna drop this while Joe was here. Just for everyone's knowledge, higheredav.com is going to take the month of August off. You'll still be able to see some of the stuff. Joe's working on the splash page, and the AV Life will still be listed there. But the whole site itself is going to be going under a refresh, and we're going to be coming out with a new design, and it's going to be real easy to see, and you'll be able to experience things with our sponsors. And that'll be coming out September 1st. So the site will be in like a half on state, I guess is probably the best way of putting it, but it's in limbo. Yeah. for about a month while we get things ready for the start of September. But we'll still be recording, and we will still be releasing episodes. So, you know, find us on YouTube, find us on whatever your favorite podcast streaming service is. And we'll be there for you every week. So, so yeah, until our next adventure.